Joining us. And in the next segment that we are in right now, we'll be looking at the crisis that rocked the Plateau State a few days ago, talking about the weekend where lives were lost. We have the National Secretary of the Miyetti Allah Breeders Association, Baba Othman Ngelzarma. I hope I got that right. Yeah. Thank you very much for finding our time to be here. Thank you very much. All right, let's look at what happened in Plateau State. What was the position, or what is the position of Miyetti Allah? Because we had reports coming in that the group had claimed responsibility of what happened in Plateau State. How true is this assertion?
We have never claimed responsibility and will never claim responsibility. Okay. Because the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeder Association is a non-violent association, it's a peaceful association. We don't encourage violence, we don't accept it, we don't support it, we don't condone it in any way and by whosoever. So we are for peace and for peace. We don't like violence. So whoever is speaking on behalf of this association, other than the national president, my humble self, who is the national secretary, and the national PRO, whoever speaks for this association is on his own. He's not speaking for the association. He's speaking on behalf of his humble self, not Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeder Association. From here, I would like to honestly sympathize with the government and people of Plateau State for what happened. It's sad, it's unfortunate, because the life of a human being is so precious. We all have lives, we enjoy our lives. The life of a human being is so precious that one wonders how people will go on killing people. It's sad, it's unfortunate, it's condemnable. We have condemned it in all its ramifications and by whoever. We don't like it, we don't condone violence, we don't support it. We condemn it in its totality. It's a sad happening, we don't like it. And we must at the same time appreciate the governor of Plateau State in particular, because this is somebody who has invested a lot in security for the past 3 years. He has been working hard to see that peace is back in Plateau State. But somehow, somewhere, some miscreants are out to destroy his good intentions. So this is condemnable. We condemn it in all its ramifications. We are never, and will never be part of violence. Miyetti Allah is a peaceful organization, having respected northern traditional rulers as chairman and board of trustees. So we don't resort to violence. We are always for peace, and wherever these things happen, we always call for, encourage dialogue for the warring parties to sit together and come up with a solution that will bring about peace. So we appreciate, we sympathize, and at the same time appreciate the governor and the people of Plateau State in general. This is a sad happening, it's condemnable, it's sad, it's unfortunate.
Now, have you been able to get in touch with the Plateau State chapter of the Miyetti Allah Breeders Association? Maybe that claiming of responsibility is coming from the state chapter of your Breeders Association.
It's not coming from the state chapter. I have been in contact with them since yesterday, but they have not given me their formal report in writing up till now, because we don't work on verbal information. We always work where a written report is submitted to the national headquarters. But we have been speaking with them. This statement is not coming from them. This statement is coming from the zonal chairman, and just recently we released a code of conduct from the national executive telling each and every member of the national executive that no one should face the media apart from the national president, the national secretary, and the PRO of the association. Whoever does that, he is doing it in his own capacity, and he is on his own. We are not a party to whatever somebody is doing on behalf of this association. The only people responsible and authorized to talk on behalf of this association is my national president, my humble self, and the PRO of the association. And no more. At the state level, the state chairman the state secretary and the state PRO are in a better position and an authorized position to speak on behalf of this association. Whoever does so, he is doing it on his own. So we have never claimed responsibility, and we will never claim responsibility. My state branch in Plateau has been working with the government of Plateau State closely. They have been cooperating, they have been working together. Even yesterday when the vice president was there, I saw the state chairman and some of his escorts in the company of the team that received the vice president. They were there. So Miyetti Allah is not a violent association. Far from that. We condemn this thing. We are not a party to it, and we will never, how can we take responsibility? We are not a violent association. Yeah.
Now, you know, once you mention Miyetti Allah, you know, in the ears of an average Nigerian walking on the street, the words that quickly comes to the mind at that point is that, oh, Miyetti Allah, and the next thing you think of is killer herdsmen. Are you a militia group or, you know, a friendly group? What exactly is Miyetti Allah? Because once you mention Miyetti Allah, the next thing is killer herdsmen.
First, I have to clarify an aspect. There are two Miyetti Allahs. Yes.
Okay.
We have the Miyetti Allah Cattle Hore, which is an entirely registered, duly registered association of its own.
Okay.
Then we have this Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeder Association, which we lead. This is an association that has been in existence for over 30 years now. And it has, as chairman and board of trustees, respected prominent traditional rulers in the north. His Eminence the Sultan is the chairman board of trustees of this association. Then the emirs of Kano, the Lamed of Adamawa, the emir of Zazo, and the emir of Katna. They are the members of board of trustees of this association. Where neighbor it was established as a non-violent, non-political association, an association established for the flight of pastoralists in the country. The peaceful pastoralists, because today we have so many criminals in the fold of the pastoralists, just like any other society in Nigeria. We also have our fair share of criminals within the pastoralist society. That is why today you see this issue of cattle wrestling. Today we lost over 2 million cows as a result of cattle wrestling. Who are the owners of the cows in the country? They are the pastoralists. They are the typical owners of the cows in the country. Today they lost about 2 million cows as a result of cattle wrestling in the country. In a span of just 3-4 years, so many families were rendered poor as a result of the cattle wrestling. Today, what the world want to know is the pastoralists in Nigeria are at the receiving end of much of these vices. Cattle wrestling is one of them. Kidnapping is second. The kidnapping in crime, the pastoralists, if you call them the herdsmen, they are today both culprits, victims, and culprits at the same time. Because we agree having criminals just like any other society in the country within the fold of the pastoralists, as you have in so many societies. So because of this, we become culprits. And because of the media profiling, we feel the media most of the time is not being fair to us, because whatever happens, even before proper investigation is conducted to find out the true situation of things, the media jump to conclusion and say the Fulani husband had done this, that, and that. Today, some people out there have the intention of preparing us, the pastoralists, for genocide. And today they have almost succeeded, because all communities in the country today look at an average husband or the pastoralist as an enemy. But these are the same pastoralists that the communities have been staying together with for decades,
a long time,
living peacefully for decades. They are the same people. But today, because of the high rate of crime in the country, and the way the media is treating this aspect of the crisis, today the herdsman has become an enemy to each and every society in Nigeria. What people don't know, as I said, he is at the receiving end of cattle wrestling because he is the sole owner of the cattle in the country. He is at the receiving end of kidnapping, because today I always mention and say wherever I go to, before one personality is kidnapped in the city, 10, 20, 50 of our members must have been kidnapped in the forest. But it is a silent happening. It's not reported. People don't hear it. People don't know what the herdsman is going through. Before you kidnap one personality in the city, 10, 20, 50 of our members must have been kidnapped in the forest. It is a silent happening. They pay their ransom quietly. They don't report it because they stay in the forest, an open place, vulnerable for attack by all sorts of things. And where they stay with all the wealth they have, their only source of livelihood, which is the cow, and they stay there with the family, with the wife, the children, and everybody. So today, kidnappers don't even bother to kidnap them and hold them. What they do, get their telephone numbers, call them. You, Mr. Arro, we know where you live. You live in social forest with your family on or before this time. We need this much of money. If you fail to pay, we'll come after you, we'll kill you. He has no option than to silently take 5, 10, 20 of his cows, sell, pay the ransom to continue to live peacefully where he is. And even if he has to migrate and leave that place, he will have to pay the ransom before he quietly moves out of that place. Because if he will have to run, for how long will he run on foot with maybe 100, 200 cows and the family? The highest he can run to is not more than 5 kilometers in a day. And these people are using bikes. They can always get him. So we are at the receiving end. Our members are at the receiving end of these vices. Today, they are at the receiving end of the pastoralist crisis, because wherever they happen, this crisis mostly emanates from simple farm distractions that were not managed properly. So it becomes a very big issue, leading to a lot of lives. So because these crises were not managed, and because the pastoralist is an illiterate person, he has no formal education, he's not educated, so everybody is exploiting his ignorance. So when there is a little farm distraction, the entire body responsible for judging this thing, they all connive to extort the herdsmen. Instead of paying maybe 50, 20,000 for the crops destroyed, he will find himself paying 500,000 to 1 million naira. Today, sometimes even the leadership of the association at the local level, who are supposed to protect and support the herdsmen, will all connive with the traditional institution, the security at the local level, with the judges, everybody, to extort.
What are you doing about this?
We have been doing our best as an association. We have been trying to find ways on how we can even hire the services of some lawyers, so that when these things happen in the state, they should immediately refer to the lawyers to come to their aids. But today, if they are left on their own, they have become victims of extortion from extortionists. So this is what the herdsman is going through, apart from lack of education, apart from these issues of the neglect on the part of the grazing reserves they have in the country. Some areas were designated as grazing areas since 1965, and these areas they today run to about 5 million hectares of land, coming from about 415 grazing reserves we have in the country. Out of this number, about 144 of them have lost, they are gazetted, and this number also represents about 3 million hectares of land. But today, because of environmental factors, because of neglect on the part of government, all these grazing reserves were left to be useless. They no longer serve the purpose for which they were established, because the environment is affecting them because they are all located in the northern part of the country. We all have them in the northern part of the country. We only have 2, 3 in the southwest. We don't have any in the southeast. We only have, all the grazing reserves we have, they are located in the northern part of the country, with only 3 located in the states of Ogun and Oyo. Apart from those 3, all the others are located in the northern part of the country. Today, all these grazing reserves were allowed to become useless because they are not maintained by the government. Apart from the environmental, which is a natural factor, the government also is not also maintaining them. The dams within the reserves were allowed to be silted. They no longer hold water. The grass, the useful grass that are being consumed by the cows have given way to unpalatable ones that are not useful to the cows because of the lack of maintenance. Immediately the first second rain comes, the first grass that comes out because of hunger, the cows will begin to feast on them. And while feasting on them, they remove them from their roots. They are not allowed to develop and drop seeds for next season. So gradually, the grazing reserve became so bare, they no longer have the useful grass that the cows can consume. So this livestock aspect, subsector, had been neglected for decades by the succeeding administrations.
Okay, now let me take you back. Have you ever seen a situation where any of your members is being caught with weapons? Because I know that the Fulani headsman goes around with a stick and maybe a machete, just to cut grass and to try to control the cattle. Are there situations whereby one or two of them have been caught with weapons?
I have never come across such, but even if it happens, we consider these guys to be criminals.
One Danladi Chiroma, said to be the North Central leader of Miyetti Allah, has been quoted to have justified last weekend's attack on Birom villages. Are you aware of this?
Well, Danladi Chiroma is the zonal chairman of the North Central, but he is not in any way allowed to make statement to the public. So I assume what he did was his personal opinion, because this is not the position of Miyetti Allah as an association. You have heard it from the commissioner, Yakubu Detti. He has confessed, he has said during the interview that Miyetti Allah were part of the team that received the vice president. This goes to show you that Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeder Association, Plateau branch, has been working closely with the Plateau State government for peace. We have been working closely with the government for peace. That is the reason why we knew what the governor has been doing for the past 3 years in trying to bring about peace. And he has almost succeeded, because Plateau has been peaceful for quite some time, if not because of this one that erupted very recently. So this must be the activity of some migrants who are out to destroy the good effort of the governor.
But in your own association, what are the punitive measures in your own constitution, that can be meted out to someone who is dragging the integrity of your association into the mud?
Very good. We will definitely sit and do something about this thing, because we will not sit and wait for an individual to destroy the good image of this association. And this is a very sensitive issue. We are now in the period of crisis where this farmer cattle breeder crisis are already entered a vicious cycle of conflict. We are looking for ways to get out of this quagmire. So we will not support a situation where an individual will come and take us back while we are trying through whatever source. We very recently heard about the federal government coming out to say it will pilot ranches in about 10 states in the federation. It's a welcome development, because at least there is light at the end of the tunnel. We are beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel. This administration is bent in trying to come out with a solution to solve this problem. We know these people, our members, the herdsmen, must be settled, because this period of roaming about looking for pasture is almost over, because if you consider the growing population of both human beings and animals, again, a static land that doesn't increase, this calls for an effective planning on the part of government for these people to get settled. So while these things are going on, we'll not fold our arms and see an individual trying to be either overzealous or whatsoever to destroy the good things the association and the government of Plateau State and some other governments are doing. We'll definitely have to do something about this type of things, where our members have erred in trying to be either overzealous or trying to, we don't know, for whatever reason. But yesterday when I spoke with him, he said he was caught out of context. He was misquoted. But I said, whatever, even if you are misquoted or not, if you are misquoted, talk to the media that has misquoted you. Take them to court. Punish them. If you are misquoted or whatever, the fact remains we have released a code of conduct that henceforth nobody should speak on behalf of this association, other than the national president, my humble self, and the national PRO of this association. Whoever does that, he is doing it on his own personal opinion. So if there's a problem, he will be held personally responsible for that, not the association. So you see, we are now in the period of crisis, trying to find solutions. We will not fold our arms and see people for their interest or for whatever reason trying to take us back to where we started. We have been engaging in initiatives, as you said, Mercy Corps, Interfaith Mediation Center, Search for Common Ground. We are trying to even bring the farmers' leadership and the pastoralist leadership together at the national level, at the state level, and at the local government levels with all the other critical stakeholders, so that we'll be sitting together to try to find out where is that missing communication between the farmers and the pastoralists. What can we do collectively to push out the criminals among us who are creating problems, perpetrating these acts for their own personal benefits, to put us into this dangerous and unbearable situation where, look at the situation in Benue today. Look at how the farmers were all packed in IDP camps without even proper maintenance. Look at what is happening to the pastoralists in Benue. Look at how the government is overstretching the mega resources it has for the maintenance of the public of Benue. Rather, it is using it to maintaining IDPs, which is not enough. So these things calls for dialogue on the part of the leaders. Let's sit together and come out with a way out of this crisis. It's only dialogue that can solve these problems. We always look and call for dialogue. So we have been engaging in some initiatives with a lot of other NGOs to try to find a solution out of this crisis. And we hail what the federal government is also trying to do. You know, look at how the federal government is working effectively on security. Look at how its presence is being felt in Plateau when this thing happened. The vice president himself was there. This is very good. So the governor of Plateau State has been working for the first 3 years to try to bring an end to this crisis. This is encouraging. So we cannot wait and see all these efforts being put by the state government and the federal government and all the security agencies being taken back to a starting point. It's bad. We'll not condone it. We'll definitely do this about this, Daladi Chiroma in particular, and any other officer who has erred in this kind of thing, because this is a time that will not allow. This situation is so sensitive now. People are losing their lives on daily basis. We'll not wait and see somebody to come and destroy the good things we are doing together with the federal government and some of the state governments. Look at the situation in Ekiti today. Ekiti is peaceful. Before, there used to be a lot of skirmishes between the farmers and pastoralists, but we went and sat with the government of Ekiti State. Ekiti State is peaceful today. For how long have you had any crisis coming from Ekiti side? Ekiti is peaceful now. Look at the situation we had in Ebonyi State. There is a governor who said in his state, the pastoralists will enjoy free education for their children. And whoever is not interested in putting his child free and compulsory education, including the pastoralist children in Ebonyi State, whoever is not ready to put his child in school, that pastoralist should leave his state. Look at the situation we're having in Edo State. We're working with the government in Edo, working with the governments in Ebonyi, we're working with so many. Look at Katsina. We have had a lot of initiatives with the Katsina State governor. Last 3 years, the farmers don't dare go to the farm, the pastoralists don't dare come to the market. But with the intervention, the collaboration of the Katsina State government and the association, we came up with a solution. Katsina is today peaceful, relatively peaceful. No crisis again. So we have been working, and the last time we had a meeting with about 5 representatives from the northern state governors in Sokoto. They requested we submit, we give them a roadmap that, in our view, that will solve this problem. They gave us 2 weeks. We started within 2 weeks. We involved services of some professionals from the livestock sector, from the education, nomadic education side, from the security side. We came up with a document. We gave the northern state governors. We say now, from the perspective of Miyetti Allah, these are what we see as the problems ranging from this issue of grazing reserve and on how to migrate from grazing reserve gradually to ranching. This is because the pastoralism, the nomadism practiced in the country is a way of life. It has become a way of life for the pastoralists. That is what they saw their forefathers do, and that is what they also do, because they are not educated and nobody has tried, no government has tried to improve their skills and to even show them what 50 cows can do to them that 300 cows cannot do to them. Because today we still maintain an outdated species of cow that gives a yield of not more than 3 liters of milk per milking cow per day, against the breed today in the world that gives a maximum of 30 to 50 liters of milk per cow per day.
Well, maybe we have to get into technology.
Yes.
Now, you told us in the course of your interaction now that you spoke with Chiroma.
Yeah.
And he claimed that he was misquoted by the media.
He said he was misquoted.
Now, did he tell you the real intention he was trying to pass across, or the real message he was trying to pass across?
So, you see, I didn't ask him that because I was disturbed with what I saw. Because it was on the media that this is the position against Allah. I said, to hell, how can the media say this is our position? We have to come out and tell the world that this is not the position of Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeder Association. We are the people who are supposed to talk on behalf of Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeder Association, not Allah the Chiroma, not any other person else. At the national level, it's only my national president, me as the humble secretary, and the national PRO of the association. They are those that are supposed to talk authoritatively on behalf of this association. Any other person is talking on his own. He's saying his personal opinion. So we said, I was so disturbed about what I had, because this is far away from what Miyetti Allah stood for. We stood for peace. We don't condone violence. We don't like it. And considering the nature, the status, and the people, the respected personalities we have behind us as the chairman and members of board of trustees, if you consider these guys, there is no how we can put ourselves into such an embarrassing situation. So what we saw and heard from Erladi was so embarrassing to us. So we said we have to come out and tell the world, this is Erladi's personal opinion. This is not the position of Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeder Association. That is why when you invited me, I came immediately, because I have to condemn what took place in Plateau. I have to sympathize on a serious note with the people of Plateau State. What happened was so barbaric. It was senseless. So enough of these senseless killings. We have to sit together, dialogue, and find a solution out of this crisis that we have today in the country, affecting the pastoralist crisis. I tell all the media always, the herdsmen are the worst affected, but people don't know. They are the worst affected because we don't have media. We are not very much covered by the media. Look, for example, this is my first time of coming to your studio. This is the first time I have been invited to come and discuss in this. But I've been to channels, AIT, and most of these media. So, and the print media, most of them are sometimes not doing justice to us. When something happens, they just jump to conclusion without even but trying to balance the story with us to find out our side of the story. Now, one unheard story on the 7th, to be precise, on the 7th of this month, over 50 Fulanis were killed on a market day in a market in Kidandan, Giwa local government of Kaduna State.
Over 50. Over 50.
They were killed in cold blood by the vigilante and some security personnel. We don't know why. They are criminals, we don't know. They are not criminals, we don't know. And there are a lot of arrests. But because these things are bordering on the security, but no media has covered this thing. But because these things are bordering on security, we are always cautious on how we go into certain things, because you see the situation has become so delicate, so sensitive today, because you don't know, to the extent that you don't know who is who. Look at what is happening in the burning Gwari forest. Bandits going after an entire town, shooting, killing people, looting, taking away their properties, killing them. So if you look at all these things, it's a group of bandits. Crime doesn't discriminate between religion and tribe. There's no group you will not find in that. There's no ethnic group you will not find in that bandits group. It's a crime. It doesn't discriminate between religion and tribe. So it's that activity of bandits. all these things that are happening are activities of criminals. But most of the times, the media will jump to conclusion and say the herdsmen have done this, that, and that, even before proper investigation, even before it is certain that it has been done by the pastoralists. Media will just judge us in the public opinion that it is being done, perpetrated by the pastoralists. So we consider this as an injustice on our part. We should be given time to say our own side of the story. The media, there is an important institution in trying to bring peace in any country. If the media tries to be lopsided, we will continue to have crisis. If the media is fair in its reportage, it's an important institution in an economy. If the media tries to be biased in its reportage, there is going to be a problem. That is why this crisis is not coming to an end. Today, they have put the Nigerian herdsman in a situation where wherever he goes to, he is being looked as a criminal, as a kidnapper, as a whatever type of bad people is just the herdsman. Today, if you say herdsman, the immediate thing that will enter into your head is it's a bandit, it's a criminal,
it's a killer.
It's a killer, it's a rat.
All right, Othman,
excuse me, okay. Look at what took place in the Mambila Mountains 6 months back. 724 of the pastoralist families were killed in cold blood. Up to today, none of the perpetrators is brought to book. Look at what took place in Demsa, in Adamawa State. Over 100 were assassinated, mainly women and small children. Only 6 adults out of over these 100 people. Adults were only 6. All the rest were small children and women. Even a 3-month baby was not spared. Look at what took place in Kajuru, in Kaduna State, because there was a case of kidnapping and the victim was killed. So the community assumed the kidnapping was done by the Fulanis, by the husband. So they went on rampage on the entire pastoralist families. They killed over 100 of them. Up till today, none of the perpetrators are brought to book. Long as we will continue to let perpetrators go free, they will go back to their communities as heroes. So we call on the government we know the government is doing its best. We still call on the government to try to be bringing the perpetrators of such acts to book from whatever side. We don't care, because we are a peaceful association. We don't condone violence. We don't like it. So the normal herdsman moves with a stick. Wherever you see a herdsman moving with a sophisticated weapon, that guy must be a criminal.
All right. Let's also have you back on track, because you've been giving us so much information about killings affecting even the cattle breeders in some parts of this country. Before now, we've been having a peaceful coexistence between the pastoralists and farmers. Where have we missed it? Where did this problem start from for you? Like you rightly said, Miyetti Allah has been on for over 30 years. Where have we missed it? And where did we get it wrong?
So this is due to so many factors. First, it arises from poor management of perma-pastoralist crisis. Before this time, crisis used to happen between these two professions, because there are professions that were created to coexist together. So crises do happen right from when these two professions started, because the pastoralists are also farmers at the same time. They also farm. So even before this time, they used to have some small kind of skirmishes, animals straying into farms, making distractions.
Then how do they settle at that point?
But then, because there was understanding and brotherhood, the farmer and the pastoralists would settle in the farm. The farmer would say, see, your cow, your animal has made this distraction. Oh yes, I have seen how much. Okay, they will quantify it together. The pastoralists will pay, they shake hands, continue to live together. But today, because of poor management of this crisis, these things become something else. So that communication that existed between them is no longer there again. Instead of the effective communication and understanding today is suspicion, misunderstanding, and mistrust between them. So each one is suspecting the other, and this is due to so many factors. Sometimes activities of criminals, sometimes cattle rustlers will come, if they want to rustle cows, they will come and go and provoke trouble. Maybe they go and shoot at a farmer so that in the morning the community will go to attack the pastoralists. So when there is this chaos.
Okay, we have Naladi